Well, after a rainout last night, these classic rivals will play two today. We've got you for Game 1 as the New York Yankees host the Los Angeles Dodgers in a Sunday matinee at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. There will be a key matchup on the mound, and it's brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the Yankees. Cam Schlittler owns the second best ERA in baseball at 2.05. Only the Miz has been better. And this afternoon, it's ace versus ace as 2025 World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto toes the slab for the Dodgers. We certainly hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. So this is the second game of this three-game series. Rained out last night. We got wall-to-wall ball coming up on pregame, postgame for Game 1 and postgame later on tonight after Game 2. But as we get your Hyundai opening comment, we look at this matchup today. I say Yoshinobu versus Schlittler. You say...
I say, not sing, hey, now you're an all-star, because that's what this feels like right now, Bob. 5 days ago, the all-star game was in Philadelphia. Both of these pitchers were all-stars. They didn't pitch in that game, but Yankee fans and Dodger fans get the treat of seeing them go head-to-head today. And it's two different types of pitchers, Bob. You have Schlittler, who wants to bludgeon batters with his fastballs. He throws his fastballs more than 90% of the time. And then you have Yamamoto, who features that splitter and a cutter and a curveball and slices and dices batters. But from a Yankee perspective, after a Friday night game didn't end the way that they wanted and left them with some questions about their performance, Schlittler, even against Yamamoto, is the man they want to see on the mound.
Yeah, and starting pitching is the headline in this one. And with that in mind, we sent it out to Meredith Marakovitz for the Clubhouse Report, brought to you by your local Ford stores. Here she is with pitching coach Matt Blake.
Thanks, Bob. With the rain out last night, there are a lot of pitching notes, and who better to talk pitching than Yankees pitching coach Matt Blake. Marquee matchup this afternoon between Schlittler and Yamamoto. Why Schlittler in Game 1?
Just the way it kind of worked out with the 27th man being Elmer. We could only access him for the second game, and with a bullpen game on Tuesday, we felt like pushing the starters back to cover that was a little bit cleaner, and so Cam had to go the first game.
Let's take a look at Yoshinobu Yamamoto and what he offers. And what he offers, you said he's going to move that ball around, including a great splitter.
Yeah, Bob, if you watch video of his splitter, which we're doing right now, if you're a hitter, I think it might make your eyes bleed, because his splitter has the ability to look like a fastball for what seems like 58 feet until it's not a fastball anymore, and it dives just like that. Not surprisingly, it's the pitch he throws more than any other. You see the batting average there against it is 154. He throws it more than 27% of the time. So think Tanaka, who used to want to get to his splitter and his slider, would throw the fastball, but really wanted to get you out with his splitter.
And when you were breaking that down, correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like two splitters in a way. One kind of bores straight down into the ground, and the other one almost looks like it has a little change-up effect in on right-handers.
Exactly right, Bob. It sort of had that change-up or that two-seam effect where kind of moving left to right. And even in his last start against the Diamondbacks, where it's probably his worst start of the year, he walked 4 batters. Watching the movement on some of his pitches and just watching those Diamondbacks hitters trying to guess along with Yamamoto, because that's what I think a lot of batters have to do, Bob. He has so many ways to get you out. Splitter, cutter, fastball, curveball. You sort of have to go up there and think along with him, and he is so smart. It's why I think the Yankees have to make sure you're trying to get him early in the count, because he gets 0-2-1-2. Yeah. He's got a lot of ways to put you away.
Something you said, though, interesting. He had 4 walks against the Diamondbacks and giving up 6 runs in his last outing, which is atypical of him, but also that's right into the Yankees' MO, right, of extending at bats and getting walks.
Right. I don't want to give my key away just yet. Right, Bob. It's about being smart, yet being aggressive at the same time. He is going to try to get you to expand. He is going to try to get ahead of you in the count and then get you to chase his pitch. But, right, the fact that he walked 4 in his last game, the Yankees would happily take that in this game, because you want to be able to mount something against this guy. You get some runners on base, you have to cash in.
Highly skilled, good stuff. All of his pitches are really good. He's able to, use his fastball well, set up the split. Spins the ball well, athletic, repeats things. He's, and we've had some experience against him. We've had some games against him. We've had a little bit of success at times. He's pitched well against us at times. So hopefully a little bit of that familiarity with some guys hopefully serves us well today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with David Cohn and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Yesterday was washed out, so it is a doubleheader today, day-night doubleheader. Yankees lost on Friday, but when we talk about marquee pitching matchups, this is a marquee pitching matchup for Game 1 today. It's the Home Depot working on a win pitching matchup. One of the heroes of last year's World Series win for the Dodgers, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, gets the start. And for the Yankees, it's Cam Schlittler. He's an all-star, and boy, did he earn that. And you have to be excited. If you like baseball, this pitching matchup is very, very special. We're looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it.
The final from the Bronx, the Dodgers winning it 8-2 for a while there. A pretty good tilt, a good starting pitching matchup between Cam Schlittler and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but things quickly turned when they solved Schlittler, but they couldn't solve Yamamoto. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
Yeah, Yamamoto and the Dodgers end up being the clear-cut winners in that pitching battle and in the battle overall. And Yamamoto is the headline for me, Bob. 66th regular season start of his career. This ends up being his first complete game ever. Interestingly enough, he does have 2 complete games in the postseason, but he had so many different ways to get the Yankees out, and he did it efficiently. Meanwhile, as you already brought up, you had Cam Schlittler out of the game by the 5th inning because he was approaching 100 pitches. Struck out 8, didn't walk anyone, had good stuff, but the Dodgers made him work. They fouled off 16 pitches. He threw 14 curves. Only one of them was a strike. And if Yamamoto was the headline, Bob, the Dodgers lineup was the sub-headline. Heavy at-bats against Schlittler and then taking advantage of the underbelly of the Yankees bullpen in the 8th.
All right, let's take a look at Yamamoto. He's the optimum player of the game and what the Yankees were trying to do against him. And you said coming in, smart, aggressive at-bats and being careful of that splitter right there.
Yeah, the splitter was terrific for him. In fact, everything he threw was terrific. Go ahead to the 3rd inning. There's Sanchez. I mean, you cannot spot a sinker better than he did right there. Here's one highlight for the Yankees. Their first hit of the game is from Grisham. He touches that 2-0 fastball, drills it into the seats. His 11th homer. Yankees only down 2-1.
But then Yamamoto goes right back on track to Ben Rice, swings through a splitter right there for strike 3. 2 batters later, Cody Bellinger on an 0-2 count. So Yamamoto getting ahead quickly again, keeping that pitch count down, gets him on the fastball to end the inning. And that theme continued throughout the game.
Yeah, bottom of the 5th, he gets Chisholm to swing through a sinker that is at the top of the zone. Leadoff double by Rice in the 7th. And here's where the Yankee offense just stalled. Jason Dominguez has to figure out a way to, at the very least, advance the runner. Instead, he pops out. Had he advanced him, this would have been a sacrifice fly from Cody Bellinger. Instead, it's just a second out of the inning. And then Schumann actually put a really good at-bat on Yamamoto, hits it sharply, but Pages is there to collect it. Still a 2-run lead.
Bottom of the 8th, they get another runner on, Ryan McMahon to first. And just like that, after the Yankees had just scored, maybe thought they had a little momentum, a 3-6-3 double play, and then a 1-2-3-9 wraps it up.
Yeah, he gets Dominguez staring at a cutter to end it. You see the numbers right there. They're gaudy. The Yankees did manage 4 hits. They got a couple of runs, but this is a pitcher who was in total control throughout the day.
Yeah, and again, you take a look, just 4 hits allowed by Yamamoto, 7 strikeouts, no walks, and by pitching ahead in the count. And that was the thing, Jack. Yankees found themselves 0-2, 1-2 a lot as he got ahead, and then was able to find the put-away pitch that evaded Schlittler at times.
I know a game is not decided in the first couple of innings, Bob, but he got through the first 3 innings of this game on 28 pitches. So you talk about a pitcher being efficient early in the game, and guess what? That allows you to go deep into the game. And on a day where the Yankees and Dodgers are playing a doubleheader, and the guys in the booth made this point, what a tremendous advantage for the Dodgers, who are going to a bullpen game in Game 2 to have their starter pitch all 9 innings. Yamamoto is a unicorn. We give Ohtani so much credit and so much praise, as we should. He's the perennial MVP. But Yamamoto, in his own way, going out there with the number of pitches that he throws, he's clever, he's precise, he's efficient, he's a bulldog in his own way. I said that Schlittler can bludgeon hitters and that Yamamoto would slice and dice them. That's exactly what he did today.
Aaron Yamamoto really shut down the offense. What allowed him to be so effective and efficient?
Ahead, command, was mixing 4-seam, sinker, cutter, and then, the splitter was really good. Kind of introduced the cutter kind of second time through, but just commanded and, had a lead. So we were behind. So, when you're strike throwing as well as he is with the stuff that he has, makes it tough. So obviously a tough morning for us.
You mentioned the command and the strikes. Just he was pounding the strike zone all afternoon long. What did you think of the team's approach against him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to be able to do more. I mean, we've been saying that a lot here the last few weeks. We got it going on the road a little bit. I mean, credit to him. He was outstanding and on his game today. But we got to do a better job, even those times when it's a struggle and it's challenging when a guy is commanding it and strike throwing like he is, because it's hard to just get deep in counts with him. But we got to do a better job of just having those heavy at bats as a group, and that's where we've struggled here these last few weeks.
Seemed like the Dodgers offense really grinded away there. Just what did you think of Cam? His pitch count?
I thought Cam was really good, but they did a lot of heavy at bats. So he had a ton of swing and miss going, which was getting him into 2-2 and 3-2 counts. And then they did a pretty good job of extending some at bats with a lot of foul balls. So it was kind of death by 1,000 cuts. So I thought he was on his game. They just had a ton of long at bats so it didn't enable him to get deep in the game.
Aaron, by heavy at bats, do you mean controlling the strike zone, getting into positive counts, drawing some walks? Because it really feels like a lot of that has been missing for a while. And if I'm right about that, why do you think it's been missing?
Well, today's a little bit of an outlier with Yamamoto, who's, ain't going to walk you and, has the stuff to challenge you in the strike zone. So, but yeah, it comes in a lot of different ways. Some days you're getting shut down, but it's a grind for that pitcher. You get him out and you eventually get to some favorable matches, or you net yourself some mistakes. And we haven't done a good enough job of that. And that's where we've got to be better, because even when you're rolling offensively, there's going to be days where you kind of get shut down a little bit, but we want that feeling of, man, that was a grind that opposing pitcher goes through. And for the last few weeks, we haven't done that enough.
Yamamoto was able to dispense of the Yankees hitters. And when they're good, by the way, they're putting 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats on a pitcher. They weren't able to do that today, but they did that to Schlittler.
Yeah, whereas the Dodgers' heavy at-bats against Schlittler were plentiful, and we could point out a half a dozen or more than that. You really have to search for heavy at-bats that the Yankees had against Yamamoto. Schumann had one late in the game where he ended up lining out sharply to center field. Grisham hit a 2-0 fastball where he gets ahead in the count and ends up taking Yamamoto out. But you look at the scoreboard, Bob, and the game is 2-0 after 3 innings, and you would say to yourself, the Yankees are still in this game. Yamamoto was at 28 pitches at that point. Schlittler was at 71. So if you looked under the scoreboard, beneath the scoreboard, off to the side of the scoreboard, wherever those stats might be, you could already see this game trending in the Dodgers' direction, that their starter had a lot of life left in his arm, a lot of innings left in his arm, whereas the Yankee starter had to work so hard to that point, it was going to be a journey.
Yeah, they ended up only having 4 base runners, the Yankees did all day.
Cam, what was it about their approach that really kind of drove your pitch count up?
Yeah, I mean, they got a great lineup, right? I feel like I threw a lot of strikes. They were just able to, kind of foul a lot off. Had, some tough, long at bats there. Just kind of tax the pitch count.
Kind of take me through the process when they continue to foul balls off. It's elevating that pitch count, and you can't seem to get that third strike. Just what are you thinking as you're on the mound trying to decide what to throw next?
Yeah, I think just kind of make a competitive pitch. I think I had a lot of 3-2 counts, so some uncompetitive pitches there that didn't help. And, at that point, you're just kind of trying to make a good enough pitch where, they hope they can, put in play and get themselves out.
I mean, Cam, at the same time, you had eight strikeouts. So just what do you take away from this? How do you process this overall?
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like the miss was there. The strikeouts are good, but it doesn't matter when you can't put a competitive outing together. So, again, they got a great team, and I feel like they made me battle. Got some good hits there, and they chased me early.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto made it a challenge for Yankees hitters all day. A complete game, 4-hitter with 2 runs allowed. He threw 102 pitches. First complete game against the Yankees since August of 2023, back when Sandy Alcantara did it for the Marlins. Let's hear from Ryan McMahon now, who talks about the challenge of facing the Dodgers pitcher.
Ryan, just how much weight is this offense feeling? Just unable to find consistency over the last several weeks?
I don't know if weight's the right word. I think just a little pissed off. We know we got the guys to get this thing going, so it's just about doing it. Why do you think it hasn't happened consistently?
I don't know. Game's tough, but this is our job, and this is what we're supposed to be really good at doing. So we got to find something. We got to get something going. I think one good kick in the right direction could just get us fired.
Use the word pissed off. How do you use that type of energy to kind of spark you? Or
yeah, hopefully try to use it to lock in. We got another game later today, so the day's not completely spoiled yet.
When you look at that Dodger lineup and the way they grind out at bats, especially against a guy like Cam, do you feel like you guys are capable of that?
Yeah, I think we're capable of the same stuff. I thought they did a really good job against Cam today. Made him work really hard, and we didn't do the same to their guy.
Talk about having more control at bats. How hard is it to work a count when a guy like Yamamoto is just throwing strike one, strike two?
Yeah, he was getting ahead, doing a good job. He's just got so many different shapes. He's got the splitter, he's got the cutter, the four seam, throws the cutter as a slider too, curveball, sinker. So he's just got a lot of different things. He just kind of keeps you off the barrel, and hat off to him. He did his job today.
And Jack, just to draw another comparison between two terrific starting pitchers, as you said, Cam Schlittler couldn't land the curveball today, so what do the Dodgers do? Lay off anything that spins, as you said, go after the fastball. For Yamamoto and the Yankees' approach, he was landing everything that he was throwing up there.
And he reads bats so well, Bob, and he understands tendencies, and he gets ahead in the count, and he throws a ton of strikes. Paul O'Neill made this point during the telecast. You would say to the Yankees, well, go up there and work an at-bat. Well, of his first 28 pitches, 22 of them were strikes. So he was throwing everything over the plate on the edges. And though this is one game, I think for the Yankees, this is a litmus test about your season. Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They're trying to make it a three-peat. You just saw Yamamoto, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. How did you measure up? This could have been a winnable game, and I know it ended up being a rout, but if Schlittler is more efficient and the Yankees put up some heavy at-bats against Yamamoto, and they go to their better bullpen guys because it's a close game, maybe the game has a different outcome. I'm just sort of saying that the roadmap is out there for the Yankees as you're trying to match up with the Dodgers. Try and do more of what they did today. Efficient starting pitching, heavy at-bats, better bullpen.